Expert consensus is a very specific type of consensus. Let's say I had a very complicated math problem and I asked 100 people on the street in New York City to give me the answer to the math problem, and then I averaged all of their answers. What I would get from that would almost certainly be way off from the correct answer to the complicated math problem. But now let's say instead of 100 random people on the street, I asked 100 math professors what the answer was to the complicated math problem. And then I averaged all of their answers. I would probably have something very close to the correct answer. So that's what expert consensus is, and that's why it's different than general consensus. But for some reason, although I don't think you would think you know more than 100 math professors about a math problem if you were not a mathematician, a lot of people seem to think they know more than 100 immunologists when it comes to vaccines, even though they are not medical experts. So if you're one of those people, I have some questions for you. What is the role of Bayesian hierarchical models in synthesizing heterogeneous vaccine trial data across multiple populations? If a trial uses immunobridging rather than clinical endpoints, what surrogate markers are considered valid and how are they qualified? What are the methodological consequences of choosing intention to treat analysis versus per protocol analysis in large-scale randomized controlled trials? How do cytotoxic CD8 T-cell responses differ when primed by an mRNA vaccine versus by replicating viral infection? How would you design a cluster randomized trial to measure indirect vaccine effects without contamination bias? How should multiplicity adjustments, such as home corrections, be applied in large vaccine trials with multiple endpoints to control type 1 error? I don't have the education to answer those PhD level questions, and chances are neither do you, but the experts who are screaming at the top of their lungs that vaccines are safe and effective can answer those questions and many more. So if you are somebody who talks about the methodological biases or whatever in vaccinology, I think that you might just be repeating something you've heard, and I don't think you know what you're talking about. And neither do I, which is why we should trust the consensus of experts.